Good evening, dear students. Today, in this English literature class, let us learn the poem Dover Beach, written by Matthew Arnold. You can have a view of our poet Matthew Arnold. His lifespan was from 1822 to 1888. Let us know a little more about this poet. Matthew Arnold was an English poet and cultural critic and worked as an inspector of schools and was born in 1822. He received his early education where his father, Dr. Thomas Arnold, was the headmaster. His first poem, Alaric at Rome, published in 1840. He was graduated from Oxford University in the year 1844. His first collection of poems, The Strayed Reveller and Other Poems in 1849. Dover Beach, a brief dramatic monologue regarded as his best. It was written in 1851, inspired by his visit with his wife to south coast of England, where the white cliffs of Dover stand. The poem begins with romanticization of natural landscape, but later moves to lament the loss of religious and spiritual faith. Loss of faith substituted with the love and faith the lovers have for each other. Let us understand the focal points of this beautiful poem, Dover Beach. Description of a naturalistic scene: the calm sea, the full tide, the shining moon above the straits, and the glimmering cliffs of England. The speaker calls someone, presumably the beloved, to experience the sweet scent of the air. The speaker draws attention to the roar like sound of the pebbles drawn back and flung by the waves. The endless motion of the waves is used as a symbol for eternal note of sadness in human life. Sophocles, the Greek tragedy writer, was reminded of human suffering through the ebb and flow of waves in the Aegean Sea. The speaker is no different. The sound of the waves in the northern sea make him thoughtful. Faith in religion and spirituality is compared to a sea which once had a full tide, but now it is retreating. The speaker urges his beloved that they should be true to each other in a world devoid of joy, love, light, certitude, peace, and help for pain. The poem ends on a pessimistic note, that is, the world seems dark and confusing. Let us read the poem and understand it. The sea is calm tonight, the tide is full, the moon lies fair upon the straits. On the French coast, the light glums and is gone. The cliffs of England stand, glimmering and vast, out in the tranquil bay. Come to the window, sweet is the night air. Only from the long line of spray, where the sea meets the moon blenched land, listen, you hear the grating roar of pebbles which the waves draw back and fling. At their return up the high strand begin and cease and then again begin, with tremulous sad and slow, and bring the eternal note of sadness in. Sophocles long ago heard it on the Aenean, and it brought into his mind the turbid ebb and flow of human misery. We find also in the sound a thought, hearing it by this distant northern sea. The sea of faith was once too at the full, and around earth's shore lay like the folds of a bright girdle furled. But now I only hear its melancholy, long, withdrawing roar, retreating to the breath of the night wind, down the vast edges, drearer and naked shingles of the world. Oh, love, let us be true to one another, for the world which seems to lie before us like a land of dreams, so various, so beautiful, so new, hath really neither joy nor love nor light, nor certitude nor peace nor help for pain. And we are here as on a darkling plain, swept with confused alarms of struggle and flight, where ignorant armies clash by night. Let us understand the summary of this beautiful poem. One night, the speaker of Dover Beach sits with a woman inside a house looking out over the English Channel near the town of Dover. They see the lights on the coast of France just 20 miles away, and the sea is quiet and calm. When the light over the France suddenly extinguishes, the speaker focuses on the English side, which remains tranquil. He trades visual imagery for oral imagery, describing the grating roar of the pebbles being pulled out by the waves. He finishes the first stanza by calling the music of the world an eternal note of sadness. The next stanza flashes back to ancient Greece, where Sophocles heard this same sound on the Aegean Sea and was inspired by it to write his plays about human misery. Stanza 3 introduces the poem's main metaphor with the sea of faith was once too at the full and round earth's shore. The phrase suggests that faith is fading from society like the tide is from the shore. The speaker laments this decline of faith through melancholy diction. In the final stanza, the speaker directly addresses his beloved, who sits next to him, asking that they always be true to one another and to the world that is laid out before them. He warns, however, that the world's beauty is only an illusion, since it is, in fact, a battlefield full of people fighting in absolute darkness. Let us understand the theme of this poem. There are two themes highlighted here in this poem. First theme is loss of faith in God and religion. Second theme is love as the last solace. Form and structure of the poem. This poem is spoken by someone on Dover Beach. Poem has 37 lines and is split into 4 unequal lines. It looks like a sonnet without complicated meter and rhyming scheme. Dramatic monologue style. Here a single person, not poet, utters speech in a particular situation. Action is internal. The poet speaks through the medium of imagined character, a lover, and achieves his objectivity. Then some of the poetic devices used here are enjambment, that is continuation of sentence without a pause to the next line. Then alliteration is the next figure of speech used here. Then pathetic fallacy, that is attributing human emotion and conduct to objects in nature. Other figures of speeches are simile, metaphor, and imagery allusion, reference to another culture. These are the form and structure of this beautiful poem. Dear students, let me wind up this class by giving you some critical remarks of the poem Dover Beach. Darwin's theory of evolution and the Victorian crisis of faith. In the Victorian era, 1837 to 1901, crisis of faith caused by scientific discoveries. Sea of faith now withdrawing. Drawer. Appearance versus reality. The world looks beautiful but not so beautiful and is like a battlefield. Loss of faith in God and religion under the influence of scientific ideas. These are some of the critical remarks. And the title is also very much apt and suggestive because the poem is made by looking at the Dover beach. Dear students, hope you have understood this class. Please make your own personal preparations for the exams and other detailed studies. Thank you. Have a